as millennials, we were told that we were also the problem. And actually, when you look backwards, every single generation has come into the workforce and shifted culture in a way that the people who came before them don't like.
We were kind of the problem, though.
We were. No.
Because we wanted to break out the mold.
Yes.
Because we did all the shit they asked us to do.
And you can't trust leadership, and I think that's probably the core aspect that we overlook.
Right.
Once upon a time, we were able to think about leadership and go, oh yeah, like the leaders of the world, they know more than us. They're, they are people that we should trust, etc. And now they look at leadership and go, no, you're all idiots.
You're idiots. Yeah. And we've criminalised social media as a problem. It's affecting young people's minds, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And there is an element of truth to all of this. Yeah. However, the other side that we're not considering is actually social media has allowed these guys access to that information that's broadened their mind and allowed them to critically think for themselves.
Absolutely.
And accept at a very early point in their lives, compared to when we figured it out, that this is all smoke and mirrors and full of shit. And this ain't going to work for me.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors this year that helped sponsor the RecTalk podcast at RecFest. It was fantastic to see them there supporting us, supporting the TA world and community. So a huge thank you to Nova by Dweet, Zaverno and Screen Loop. And for those of you who don't know who these people are, I need to get to know, okay? So you have Nova by Dweet helping recruiters find bloody good candidates without spending hours and upon hours screening through Boolean searches. It's an AI tool that helps screen against role criteria. Fantastic tool. I use it myself. And then we have Zaverno. They're taking care of screening, qualifying and scheduling so recruiters can actually recruit. They have that AI agent Lena that allows them to do this properly. Please make sure you go and check them out. And then you have ScreenLoop. ScreenLoop is the all-in-one ATS built for SMEs. Replace your scattered stack of tools from ATS to interview intelligence, scheduling, scorecards and note-taking tools with one intuitive platform, backed by AI time-saving features and an award-winning support team. That way, you save time, cut tooling costs, and make smarter hiring decisions faster.
Right, we're back. As always, still here, RecFest 2026. The time is now 3:15. Starting to flag. We've got a few points in us. Really close to wrapping up now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Aisha,
Thank
you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to see you.
Nice to see you.
Now, your business deals in addressing this particular problem, but I'm going to hit you with it.
Yep.
There's a phrase that gets said a lot, especially by Gen X and millennials, that Gen Z are lazy.
Yes. Lazy, entitled and difficult.
Lazy,
Snowflakes.
entitled and difficult.
I thought you were describing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're more of a lobster right now.
Yeah, am I burnt?
You're a little bit red.
Okay, good.
You're a little bit red. It's embarrassing. That's good. Talk to me, man.
Okay, so...
Just to caveat this, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah.
Personally, I think that we, as millennials, are the problem.
Okay.
We need to learn how to motivate these people.
Yes.
And it's unfair for us to be like, well, why aren't you motivated by the things that motivated me 15 years ago?
Precisely. I mean, first of all, I would start off and say, as millennials, we were told that we were also the problem. And actually, when you look backwards, every single generation has come into the workforce and shifted culture in a way that the people who came before them don't like.
We were kind of the problem, though.
We were. No.
Because we wanted to break out the mold.
Yes.
Because we did all the shit they asked us to do. Listen, I went to school.
Yep.
I went to uni.
Yep.
You know, I got my job at 16.
Yep.
And we were of that generation that were like, it's not the same. Like this,
Also,
I don't feel like what you felt. I don't want to settle down at 22.
Agree. And I think also, like, for me, like graduating in a recession and all of that kind of stuff. And I think the key thing we have to understand about young people is they have more access to information than any generation has ever had before.
100%.
And so it doesn't wash just telling them things work a certain way when in all reality they just don't.
Yeah.
Work hard and you'll be promoted has always been a lie, but we didn't have enough information as a certain generation to be able to say no, that's not. That's
Do you
not
think
true.
we lack the ability to critically think as well? We had that. I feel like we had that beaten out of us.
I think that is a problem across the board. And when you look at the data for that comes out of the Institute of Student Employers, they're saying young people are lacking certain skills around work readiness. Critical thinking is one of them, as well as self-awareness, communication skills, that kind of stuff. And it is true, young people are struggling with some of those predominantly
core
soft
skills, key skills.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about it, they've gone through COVID and had their education disrupted, but also their social lives disrupted.
Yeah.
We don't allow young people to have that unsupervised play, and you go out and actually have to navigate interpersonal relationships.
You know why though?
Because everyone's scared. Everyone's
There's
scared.
weirdos out there now.
Yeah, but they've always been there.
There's a
always
lot
been
more of
there.
them now though.
I think we talk about it a lot more than them actually being. If you look at the statistics, no, it's kind of always been there. It's just reported more, and actually weird behaviour, we flag it now. Whereas if you think about the kind of behaviour that went on before, it was like, oh, it's just that old weird man that
The
does
BBC
that down
thing.
the street.
The BBC thing, yeah. Like, you know, we hire
Exactly.
people based off,
Yeah.
and it didn't work very well.
I think, yeah, absolutely. What I kind of find or feel is that due to our generation, my wife's a perfect example of this, have such a problem with social media, right? And we've criminalised social media as a problem. It's affecting young people's minds, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
And there is an element of truth to all of this.
Yeah.
However, the other side that we're not considering is actually social media has allowed these guys access to that information that's broadened their mind and allowed them to critically think for themselves.
Absolutely.
And accept at a very early point in their lives compared to when we figured it out that this is all smoke and mirrors and full of shit, and this ain't going to work for me.
Yeah, and do you blame them? I think also we are telling them to go to work and work hard, as I said, and also what are they getting off the back of that? They can't afford to buy a house. They can just about afford to live. They're in a planet that's literally on fire for all intents and purposes, and you can't trust leadership, and I think that's probably the core aspect that we overlook.
Right.
Once upon a time we were able to think about leadership and go, oh yeah, like the leaders of the world, they know more than us, they're, you know, they are people that we should trust, etc. And now they look at leadership and go, no, you're all idiots.
You're idiots.
You're all idiots.
You're right. Yeah, because there's a point that like we went through, right, where we always thought our parents knew everything.
Yeah.
And then we had our parents in incredibly high regard.
Yeah.
And then we can all almost pinpoint the time where
when you
we're
went,
like,
what?
Hang on a minute.
yeah, you don't know shit.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you entitled to like looking after me? Like this is mental.
Yeah, and I think that's the case. So leaders now have to take a completely different approach to motivating and leading young people.
Yeah.
Because they're not, that authority and that trust is not automatic. You have to actually earn it. And part of earning that is also being about building relationships with people. And I think that is the most underutilized thing when it comes to
Agreed.
anybody, but especially early careers. Like, do you actually see me as a person? Like, do you make me feel valued? Do you recognize that I have a perspective that I can share as much as you have a perspective that you can share with me? And I think there's a reciprocity and a level of curiosity and respect that young people demand.
The counter argument there, though, to that is that why should I?
As a leader?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will tell you why, using actual facts and figures. So, get ready.
Go.
So, there's been a meta-study done on this, looking at 146 studies, and they have found that the biggest predictor of performance is the relationship that is held between a manager and the person that they lead.
Right.
And so, if you want better performance metrics on that, build better relationships.
Okay.
Another study has found that when a manager and a young person specifically has a difference in perception of how that relationship is functioning, that is the biggest predictor as to whether or not that young person will leave. Mm-hmm. So as a manager, you might think, oh yeah, things are great, but if that young person doesn't think their relationship's going well, that's predicting that they're going to leave that organisation.
Okay.
That has money attached to it. Do you want your people to perform, yes or no?
Yeah.
Do you want them to stay, yes or no? So investing in human relationships
But if
is
they're
not
a frictionless person in an otherwise harmonious team, the answer to that question might very well be, yeah, I do want this person to leave. Right?
But why are we assuming that these young people are causing friction?
No, but they can be, right?
Okay,
but what I'm saying is that if my culture in my business is so far harmonious because actually the people that I've hired are motivated by similar things to me, right? The reason that actually there is a a level of harmony is because my employees want to work hard to impress me because that's how they were raised and brought up. You know, they're unable to critically think for themselves and question why, so they do it without asking because it's in their innate nature to do so. And then I hire a young person into the team who is motivated by different things to the rest of the group, who wants more care, attention, and like, you know, sort of to be managed in a particular manner that otherwise upsets the apple cart because actually everyone else is quite happy with how things are.
Coming through now.
That becomes frictionless.
They're the people coming through, so like trying to understand. I think leaders now have this responsibility, and it is a responsibility to learn how these people think, how the young generation think, because they think in a completely different way. They've grown up differently. They've gone through different periods of life that we haven't gone through, or we have gone through, but just at a different mental stage. So now you're expecting them to think in the same mentality that you do. So now it needs to be a bit more like, okay, why do they think like that?
Yeah. So I'll give you a way of looking at this differently. Is okay. Don't hire them. Don't hire young people ever again.
Right.
Okay. What's going to happen?
There's no shortage of people though.
I will say grad recruitment or grad jobs are at an all-time low at the moment.
They are.
It's insane.
That is what. So this is my point. That is what's happening then, right?
Yeah.
What is happening is that people's response to this, people being decision makers, Gen X and millennials, because they're the ones that are in positions of authority right now. Their direct response to this has been, we just won't hire them.
Okay, so
we just won't hire, because there's no shortage of people in their 30s, 40s and 50s that are looking for work.
Now. And that's what I keep on saying, now.
Right, but by the time that talent pool runs dry,
I
myself as a business owner am going to be in my 50s, 60s, 70s looking to wind my business up, sell it or retire anyway. So actually, it's not my problem.
But
right?
I will also say that if you think about this from an innovation perspective, like there is no question that young people bring fresh perspectives. And even if you take AI as the whole thing, every single Tom, Dick and Harry is trying to introduce AI into their businesses. And if young people are digital natives, young people are using AI at higher rates than people who are older than them. And
do the stats show this? Because in my experience of Gen Z, they are nowhere near as technologically literate as we have been.
True, because we had to do everything. We had to do everything manually.
Well, we're in a sweet spot though. We grew up in a generation where technology wasn't as prominent. Then we got introduced to it, and then it became escalated.
It became a second nature. To
these people, this younger generation, grew up where technology was completely prevalent. Social media was their go-to. Everything was accessible to them, and they were able to learn and adapt a lot quicker.
But operating systems have been dumbed down and simplified, right?
Yes, that's what it is. So we had to go file, find the thing, all that kind of stuff.
But then that's taught us how to code, and that's taught us how to understand the nuances of how this system works. Whereas they're used to big shiny button that says home. I'll click that. That'll take me home.
That's good though, because you get some people like in a senior position now, like you'll be a young person. I get why they're frustrated, because you've got to tell Gary, who's 50, how to convert a PDF file.
Yes.
And
we do. No, we have to tell them that.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Right? The Gen Z don't, because Gen Z will say, tell Gary to figure it out himself. It's not my job to tell him.
That's not. Okay, and I think we need to be really clear that's just not true. This rhetoric about Gen Z is not true. Is it going to be
I'm playing devil's advocate.
No, I know you are.
I completely
is there
disagree with what I'm saying.
Is there going to be a subsection of the society, of any generation, who are lazy, entitled and don't really care? Yes, of course there is. But do you know what it is? I think for me, is that I work with young people all the time, and I am inspired by this next generation of young people who are motivated, especially those who are trying to make a better life for themselves. And they're going, do you know what? I've got access to all this information on social media about what I can do, what career to take, how to get there. I am going to go into this job and work my absolute arse off to make a good life for me and for my family. And they are the people that I meet every day, and they are not lazy, they are not entitled, they're informed. And I think that's what we want, and that kind of mindset we want in our organisation.
From experience, I can tell you, I completely agree, right? That we did the live podcasting at the Juniper Apprenticeship Awards, and we interviewed all the winners of the different apprenticeship awards. I was blown away by it. Like, these guys are self-motivated. They know what they want.
Yes.
They don't need to go through the hard yards that we went through of like kissing a load of frogs before we find the prince. They know what they want. They're like, no, this is the direction of travel. This is where I want to be, and I'm gonna do what I can to get to that point. That was really like eye-opening.
I think a lot of us are jealous as well.
I think
like,
so.
let's be
I think
really
you're right.
honest.
I think you're
like,
right.
oh, we've had to work really hard. We had to just do what our manager said.
Yeah.
We weren't able to have this flexibility.
Yeah.
We never got to work from home. Yeah, and do you know what? Our grandparents also had to go through a lot of things that we didn't have to do. It's called change. It's called evolution, and it's
so
all
funny.
for the better.
Yeah, it's so true.
So let's actually be grateful that when those younger people want to say, actually, no, we want more rights in the workplace, that's actually going to benefit of all of us. Or we want to work from home. Why do we have to be in the office when we're all doing Zoom calls? Well, actually, none of us want to do that. So actually, let's be grateful for them having a voice and making a stand for making change in the workplace, that the next generation will look back and go,
for driving the change that actually, to be fair, we just didn't have the bottle to do.
Exactly.
Right?
All right.
Precisely.
With your tight deadline, 1 minute left, what are your closing thoughts to go away with? What would be put on your gravestone to tell people in the future?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think
Crab feet.
that... Back. We've done a
crab feet thing.
Yeah. It's actually also hurt my toe a little bit.
Can you do
earlier,
that?
but not that flexible.
I really wanted those when I was younger, but my mum was like, they're too expensive.
Yeah.
All my mates had them, and I was like,
So sorry.
You've got another chance, they're back.
Go on, closing thought.
Closing thoughts. Change has always been driven by young people. And there has never been at the time when they're doing it, whether it was people in the 60s fighting for all sorts of different revolutions, whether it's any kind of change has been always driven by young people, and we look back at it and go, God, we needed that.
Yeah.
And so that's what we need to be thinking about going forward. Yes, the context is in the workplace, which feels like this little dry kind of thing.
It's not meant to be fun.
It's not.
It's work.
But the workplace is where most of us spend the vast majority of our lives. It what shapes business outcomes, shapes society.
1/4 of our lives is at work.
Yeah.
That is mental.
Yeah. So, and we have to think about the fact that businesses shape society.
Yeah.
So the more we allow change for the better internally in our organisations, the more it will encourage change for the better externally within society.
Yeah.
And so we need to just let change happen.
Nice.
That's it.
Thank you so much for joining us on RecTalk.
Thank you very
Pleasure.
much. Thanks for having me.
Just wanted to say a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors this year that helped sponsor the RecTalk podcast at RecFest. It was fantastic to see them there supporting us, supporting the TA world and community. So a huge thank you to Nova by Dweet, Zaverno and Screen Loop. And for those of you who don't know who these people are, you need to get to know, okay? So you have Nova by Dweet helping recruiters find bloody good candidates without spending hours and upon hours screening through Boolean searches. It's an AI tool that helps screen against role criteria. Fantastic tool. I use it myself. And then we have Zaverno. They're taking care of screening, qualifying and scheduling so recruiters can actually recruit. They have that AI agent Lena that allows them to do this properly. Please make sure you go and check them out. And then you have ScreenLoop. ScreenLoop is the all-in-one ATS built for SMEs. Replace your scattered stack of tools from ATS to interview intelligence, scheduling, scorecards and note-taking tools with one intuitive platform, backed by AI time-saving features and an award-winning support team. That way, you save time, cut tooling costs, and make smarter hiring decisions faster.